Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Adiamond if you're new here. We are in video number 8 of the Maiden series, and what's super sad about that, guys, is we only have one video left. So make sure that you are subscribed so that when the last video goes up next Friday, you'll be notified. But what's really exciting is on April the 9th, I will be launching my free How to Become a Wife of Purpose on Purpose masterclass. And so for those of you who have that desire for marriage, which is what Maiden is centered around, and how to become the woman of God that you desire in order to attract that man that God has for you. So this video is going to be diving into a little bit more of that topic, but make sure that you check out the link down below and sign up for that free masterclass if you want to be a part of it. So one of the biggest questions that I get so often, whether it's like just girls that I'm chatting with at my church, is why hasn't God sent me my husband? Like, why hasn't he showed me who my husband is? Like, I want to be in his perfect will. I want to be with the right person. Like, how do I make sure that I position myself for that? And I want to answer another really good question, because this may free you guys, like another conversation that I had with a friend of mine. And she was like, is there such thing as like the right person? Like, does God have that person, our husband, already planned out for us, or do we get to choose? And the thing about God is he's a loving God, and with love comes the opportunity to make choices. Right? So what happened in the garden with Adam and Eve could have completely been avoided had God told Adam and Eve, I'm not going to give you a choice of where to eat from and what trees you can and can't eat from. Instead, he gave them choices. If God isn't a loving God, he wouldn't give us choices. So I wholeheartedly believe that God does give us choices, but there are situations where God will very plainly, kind of like me, maybe speak to you, show you in a vision who your husband is, and there has to be confirmation that comes along with that. And so what that confirmation looks like, that is a conversation that we could definitely have one-on-one. So once again, if you're interested in the mentorship, make sure that you check that out. But that could just kind of take some of the pressure off of trying to feel like you are supposed to find this one person in the 7 million people, billion people on the earth. So today I'm going to be kind of answering the question, what can I do to position or prepare myself for marriage? Okay. So not only am I going to be teaching you what to do, I'm also going to be helping and encouraging you on what not to do. So the first point is going to come as a huge surprise. Prayer. You need to be praying. You need to be praying like your life depends on it. Seriously, like if you don't get this one thing, don't even worry about any of the other tips, because literally this made the biggest difference in my preparation for meeting Eric. So if you go through Maiden, one of the things that you'll quickly learn is this is not a how to get a husband like mentorship. No, this is how do I become the woman of God that I need to be, so that when I do have the opportunity, when I do have that encounter, when I am in a marriage, I already know what to do. The issue is so many marriages. I think the reason so many marriages fail is no one's sitting down and having these conversations, and you're waiting too late. And then you get in a marriage and you're trying to develop patience, and you're trying to develop like self-control and how to be selfless. And those are all things that through prayer and through the Holy Spirit, you can go ahead and be working on in your single season. So ask God. God tells us to ask for wisdom and he will give it freely. God, what do I need to work on? Some of you guys, you already know what it is. God has already spoken to you. And if you don't, that's a conversation that we can have. But in the meantime, like, don't passively just wait. My second point is serving in church. Get your tails in the church house. COVID is over. I don't care what anybody says, like it's over. We need to be back in church. Some of y'all just need something to do that is not centered just around yourself all the time. It's self-love, and it's like romanticizing my life, and it's self-care, and find an opportunity to use your gifts and your talents for God so that it doesn't feel like you're just wanting something from him. God is like, what have you done for me? What have you done for my house? That is biblical, and we could go super deep here, but really practically, some of y'all just need something to do. And you're talking about coming home and being lonely and depressed. Like, I get that. Like, mental health, that's not really the conversation that we're having, but being lonely and making the wrong decisions in loneliness is kind of more so what I'm getting towards here. So there are so many opportunities for you to meet some incredible people. I met my husband at church, like the heck, meeting great people and just doing something for other people to get the focus off of where you are in this season of life. And so the third suggestion for things that we should be doing are preparing ourselves. What are we reading? Are we being mentored? Are we listening to inspiring messages? Are we going to counseling? Are there areas of our life where we've avoided and we don't want anybody to see, but deep down, like we've got some deep wounds and some deep scars? God is not. He is not going to bring you into a marriage that is healthy and thriving. He may, like, you may get married, but like it may not be the healthiest thing, right? So why not? Let's work on those things now. Okay. So in your free time, how are you spending your free time? What are you watching? Are you coming home from work or school and you're on like an app all day, or you're on TikTok all day? If you aren't able to, let's say, go to church on Sunday, what do you do? Do you just go to brunch and come home and clean your house? Do you go to church? Do you go and spend time and be around other people who have the same faith as you? It is so important that if this is a season you're walking into, your thoughts have to change, your actions have to change, what you do has to change. And for a season, I'm not going to lie to you, it was a little bit boring. My gosh, like when church was over or when that thing was over, whatever it was, like I came home by myself or, to my family, and it was like, I would love to be doing this right now. But instead, I'm going to go and I'm going to pray and I'm going to figure out what I need to do to get to that next season of my life. One of the things that, aside from just being kind, which is a great thing, I was really focused on the fruits of the Spirit while I was in that waiting season, because once again, there was a lot of things that I noticed in myself that like, I wasn't a terrible person, but I was just like, I don't really like that. And so there's a great book that I really feel like changed my life that I read, and it's called Women's Walk with God. And it's an older book, but it's such a great read. It's so basic, and you're walking through the fruits of the spirits and how to apply that very practically. So I would highly recommend grabbing that book. And then another very practical thing that you can do is if you have married friends, hang around them, chat with some of the women and wives and friends of yours that may be married. Hey girl, like what are you learning in this season? Like what are some tips or what are some things that you've learned in marriage that you didn't know? Feel free to have those conversations too. And like I know as a wife, I am always down to share and encourage those things that I've learned because that's also part of ministry, just being able to share with other people. So definitely take advantage of that as well. So now we're gonna dive into some of the things that we ain't got no business doing. Like we're trying to be here, but we're still doing this with these people and it's just not working. So the first thing is hanging around people, and men, maybe they're girls too, you never know, but entertaining people in relationships that you ain't got no business entertaining. Like God has already very clearly, this is for somebody, very clearly told you ain't got no business with him. Like none. Like zero. Like not even like hanging out, because every time you're around that person, you feel like you're spiritually here and then you just plummet every single time. So whether that is a friend that's a girl and you always want to like, she always wants to like go out and this, and you feel like every time you go into these environments like you're spiritually strong enough to like hang, no, you're not. So we're just gonna stop doing those things, because here's what I believe, and this is not like Bible, these aren't facts, but I genuinely believe that every time we entertain things that we know waste our time, it's just that much longer until God can move us in the direction that he wants us to go, or that he can start revealing that person that he wants us to be with. And that literally means that we're out of position. So why on God's green earth would you waste your time and prolong the process? We think we're waiting on God. God is waiting on you, sis. He's waiting on you. So that I'm not beating nobody up. Practical example, when I met Eric, I was actually dating somebody else. And I was just looking back, I was like, well, it could very well have been. And now we can go into the details of how Eric was like on this 2-year commitment, that when we met, he had a year of that commitment left. But like, what if Eric was just on that commitment because I wasn't ready for us to date? And I wasn't, like, I really wasn't. I don't think I would be the person that I am today in my marriage if it was not for that season of waiting and preparing. So sometimes it's God's grace and mercy. Other times it's just like, nah, you ain't ready. So we got to put a little timeline. And so maybe that's a slight plug. Maybe some of y'all don't need to date for a little bit, and that's okay. Maybe a year, maybe 2 years. I don't know. Whatever God already done told you, maybe that's confirmation. That's for somebody. So I kind of hinted on this a little bit, but going into environments and places that you ain't got, once again, no business being, like, it's very practical. We don't have to go super deep, right? But I'm not saying you can't ever go to a bar or something, but do you really want to meet your husband at a bar? Like the man that you want, for the people who are watching this video, the husband that you want, Do you think he's gonna be at a bar? You know what I'm saying? If you are going out in hopes of meeting somebody that is a godly husband, are you gonna go to church or are you gonna go to a club? You get me? And it may not even be that dramatic. It may be like a birthday party, but at the birthday party are people that you do not want to be around. It's an environment you don't want to be in. Like, don't waste your time. The last step that I have is watching shows and listening to music that is just gonna leave you emotionally vulnerable, okay? There's a season of my life where I was really into watching Grey's Anatomy, and like there's all these different like plots and like love stories, and it wasn't like I couldn't watch it. Like it was a distraction. It was a distraction. It was an escape from my lonely, I gotta wait a year to date my husband, so I'm just gonna entertain what someone else has going on. That's foolish. It just is. And the Holy Spirit was like, I think you should like fast Netflix until this month. And I know once again that sounds like bleh, whatever, but it changed my life. What did I do instead? I picked up my Bible every time I wanted to watch a TV show. Or I went and hung out with a friend where we could have good conversations or something else. And then music. Guys, I don't know, like I'm from Macon, Georgia, which is an hour south of Atlanta, aka like hip hop R&B capital, okay? If you're sad, if you're going through a really down time or depressive episode, why are you going to turn on like Usher or like, I don't know, like, why are you going to turn on something just to like make you even more sad? Now, if you don't know what else to do, that's fine, but like go worship. Go listen to like some worship music. Go listen to like some lift your spirits. Or if you don't want to do that, go to the gym, go work out, go for a walk. Do something. Just don't allow yourself to like soak in sadness and entertain shows and music that are just gonna leave you emotionally a mess. Do we do it sometimes? Sometimes we need a little cry session. But here's the point. There are spirits attached to music. Okay, we know that certain songs, like as you listen to a song, what happens when everybody starts getting hyped? Everybody's adrenaline starts moving, your heart rate goes up, and you're excited. And next thing you know, it's hey, whatever. Same thing happens when we listen to sad songs. Our emotions, our heart, our mind, everything kind of slows down, and it puts us in a position where like our minds, like we aren't thinking right. We're no longer clear on, you know what? I'm gonna be okay. And that's what I love about worship music is that when we're here, like I have had the worst day ever. I don't even know how I can do tomorrow. Listening to a song talking about God's goodness and God's faithfulness brings you back down to this place of like sobriety. And you're like, before this, I was really in for it. And now, like, it's really not that bad. Like, I can do this. Have good company, have good music, have a good time in your singleness. It's very possible, but just don't entertain the wrong people and wrong things because we're trying to get here and not back over there, okay? Hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Please make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you were able to watch the video all the way through, go ahead and type in the comments, wedding ring. Come on, go ahead and declare it over your life is coming. I do believe that for some of you guys that if you continue on the path that God has for you, he wants to bless you with an amazing marriage. So also lastly, do not forget to go ahead and check out the How to Become a Wife of Purpose on Purpose masterclass that is coming up on April 1st. So go ahead and register for that. The link is in my bio. So thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.